Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Book Club of California's Southern California program titled Hollywood Signs, the Golden Age of Glittering Graphics and Glowing Neon. And thank you for joining us here at the historic Blinn House. We love having our programs here, and we love that you joined us for our monthly program in Southern California. My name is Kevin Kosick, and I'm the Executive Director for the Book Club of California. It's my pleasure to welcome you tonight and host our Southern California programs. I'm running out of breath with this cold. I have a little bit of a cough. For those of you that are new to us, the Book Club of California is a nonprofit, member, and donor-supported organization that is dedicated to preserving and promoting the history of the book and the book arts. Oftentimes we do that with focus on the history and the literature of California and the West. The book club publishes limited edition, finely made books. We have a scholarly journal and club newsletter, and we have keepsakes for our members. We host a year-round series of programs and exhibitions for our members on topics including fine printing, design, typography, bookbinding, collecting, book history, book culture, California history, and much, much more. I need a glass of water. If you're not a member of the book club, or if your membership has lapsed and you're interested in what we do, please consider joining our century-long tradition. Our membership dues are modest and our benefits are many, and we simply can't do the work of the book club without the support of our members. This is our speaker doing my job. Tonight's program is titled Hollywood Signs, the Golden Age of Glittering Graphics and Glowing Neon. And our speaker is Kathy Kickert. Now, Kathy Kickert is a graphic designer specializing in book design, restaurant branding, and illustration. Her enduring love of mid-century style, design, and humor began as a child in New Jersey watching one of my favorite TV shows, I Love Lucy. From there, she developed a fascination with typography, illustration, and signs. Before moving to Hollywood, she was an art director at Doubleday and a book designer at Simon & Schuster in New York. Her retro-modern flair is expressed in the books, the brands, and the signs that she has designed. She has a BA in art history from New York University and has been photographing vintage neon signs for over 20 years. In her book, Hollywood Signs, the Golden Age of Glittering Graphics and Glowing Neon, our speaker demonstrates that signage is more than functional. It's a work of art in its own right. Now, vintage and contemporary color images of world-famous signs, such as the enormous neon dragons of Grauman's Chinese theater and the neon brown derby hat, demonstrate the incredible craftsmanship and artistry of each and every design. And tonight, our speaker will take us on a visual tour of some of Hollywood's hottest locales. Sites range from dive bars and diners to elite examples of architecture. We see international icons and Hollywood hotspots, and even hidden gems known only by observant locals. Now, if you have questions for our speaker, please wait till the end. We will have time for some Q&A, and I'll come back up to help with that now that my voice has cleared at the end of the program. So now join me in welcoming our speaker, Kathy Kickert.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Can you hear me? It's good? Okay. We are fellow KKs, so we have a special bond. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'm really excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this talk, and I brought some fun things to look at in addition to the talk. And I'll just give you a little, I haven't shown this before. This is video of Hollywood Boulevard. Let's see if it goes. From back in the day. So there's the Roosevelt, the Cinegrill, and we're heading east. There's Grauman's. Yeah, just call out when you see something you you remember.
Egyptian.
The That's the where Jimmy Kimmel is filmed now. There's Barker Brothers.
I didn't know it was there.
Coffee Downs. The Hollywood Theater, which is still there. Pickwick Books. There's the Egyptian.
Wasn't Pig and Whistle there or something?
Yes, it's right. It was right next to the Egyptian.
Yeah.
And the supply sergeant is still there.
Who's this Frank?
Musso and Magoo's.
What is the date?
I think this is 60s, sometime in the 60s. So, yeah.
The cars will tell us.
Are we in the? Yeah, we're in the loop now. Okay. So are many people here that grew up in Los Angeles or Hollywood? So this is really I didn't. I grew up on the East Coast, but I was fascinated by Hollywood, by signs, and I talk about it in the book how when I saw I Love Lucy, the Hollywood episodes, and you could see the Hollywood sign out in the brown derby, and I was as a kid fascinated by that. So here we are. We just passed in 2023. We had the 100th anniversary of the Hollywood sign. So 23 was a boom year for Hollywood. The Chamber of Commerce in Hollywood sent out, they put ads in papers saying, tell your friends, don't try to break into the movies in Hollywood until you have full, frank, and dependable information. It may save disappointment. So this was built in 23 originally. It was, of course, meant to be a temporary real estate sign when it was Hollywood land. It was meant to last for maybe a year or two. It was repaired through the decades. It was tattered by the 70s. And many of you probably know the sign about Hugh Hefner and another group of people and with the Chamber of Commerce raised money to replace the sign. So what we're seeing now and what this picture is a replica from 1978. To raise funds for that, they sold off, the Chamber of Commerce sold off 1-inch square pieces of the original sign. And I brought one. So you feel free to take a look at it after. These were souvenirs sold in souvenir shops up and down Hollywood Boulevard. So, and this, my uncle actually bought this anyway. So, when the sign was recreated, there was a big celebration. There was a 2-hour star-studded network television show, and of course, when we think of the hills and signs, this is it. But there were other signs in the hills, even before the Hollywood sign. So
Where's that?
this is Whitley Heights. It's just to if you're looking at the Hollywood sign, it's west. I mean, it's to your left, it's west.
Yeah.
So, so this was put up, this is the first sign, 1920, in the hills. It was described as a monster sign because it was so big. It was all these signs were meant to be seen from Wilshire Boulevard. This sign was like the Hollywood sign up for a year or two, and then they took it down when the neighborhood started building up. Here's a little bit of and I love this view from the back. You can really get the scale.
Wow.
Yeah.
So was it illuminated at night or?
It was noted. It was a monster electric sign. It was illuminated every night and could be plainly seen as far as Wilshire Boulevard.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
I don't think I was up that late.
So this is another sign that was at Outpost Estates neighborhood, and you can see by the guide how large this was. The Outpost Estates, when it first started, launched, was advertised as the Hillside Homes of Happiness. This sign was dimmed during it just stayed in the hills, and it was dimmed during World War II. It was forgotten about. 2002, some hikers in Runyon Canyon put it together. They had heard about this sign that used to be there, and they were hiking past this big scrap pile of metal. It turns out that's the Outpost sign. It's still up there. Yeah. This is another monster sign. This was Vinecrest, also mid-20s. People were told to, potential buyers were told to watch for the big V. And I always think of the big W from It's a Mad Men World. That house that you see in the foreground is still there. This is El Contento Drive in the near the Hollywood Dell area. And here's a close-up. You can see the scale with that guy. And this is my old neighborhood. I used to live in the Hollywood Dell and on Bryn Mawr Drive. And so Bryn Mawr was another real estate development. And the last one we have was right on the hills, Tryon Ridge. And this is over a little further east in the Oaks.
What else?
The Hollywood Oaks, it's a neighborhood just sort of around Griffith Park.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's right near the entrance of Griffith Park. This development was advertised as the Acropolis of Hollywood. And here we get like just a sort of panorama of the signs up there. There's the Hollywood sign. The H was put up by the Hollywood High students. But here you see Bryn Mawr. The dais, does anyone know what the dais turned into?
Yeah.
Broadway, the Broadway.
Wow.
That's the Broadway Hollywood building that's still there. So that sign was replaced. The dais was there just for a few years, the department store. So I thought I would talk about some theaters. To me, this is the theater. The original, this is a very early image, and you can see the signage there was very modest. The idea with Sid Grauman was that he was advertising Graumans, not necessarily the show that was going to play. So, and this is very early. We didn't have, Fandango and all that to like figure out where we're going in the movies. So people just would show up on the, and we're going to see in a minute how much more spectacular things got. So this was a neon trestle that was between Graumans and Chinese. And this was up for a long time, and in different forms of it. Here's another one. Spectacular, animated, and what we have now is more the sort of quiet original version, or closer to it. And then, of course, the dragons. These are my favorite. One of my favorite things on earth are the dragons from the Chinese theater. This is 1957. They reigned for decades over Hollywood Boulevard. I'm sure everyone remembers them. They were 40 feet long each. And they've both been rescued, which is kind of amazing. And has anyone ever been to the Museum of Neon Art in Glendale?
Yes.
So you probably saw that they have the dragon on display, and I like to go visit. Yeah, so they were just spectacular. Here's another. And then here's the sign at the museum.
I want to go.
Oh yeah, definitely go. It's an incredible place. It's a lot of fun. They have an amazing gift shop. So, the Egyptian, Probably everyone knows it was purchased by Netflix a few years ago, and they did incredible not restoration, but they just sort of brought it back to life. This is what it looked like originally in 1922. Again, the signage was very conservative and quiet. And the Egyptian opened about a month before King Tut's tomb was discovered. So a lot of people think that, Sid Grauman did this because of King Tut and the Egyptomania that followed, but he actually was, a little before. But they did, because this is so set back from the street, they did realize they needed to put some signs on the street. So this is one of my favorites. We have this incredible Graumans, and then a little tiny whisper, like Egyptian. But I kind of wish that one was still there with us. And then they added a trestle in 1927. And you can see the bottom of that blade sign, their vertical sign, that is what was recreated years ago, and that's the sign we have now. So that's kind of a nice, next time you see it, that's from the 20s. And this is a really interesting period in the Egyptian. They created this massive concrete sign, and this was animated. And so the lines would animate and the script would animate. And this is 1949, so it predates the Grauman's Dragons by 8 years. And I love the publicity still, where these ladies, they're supposed to be checking the neon in their high heels at the top of the ladder. And then, yes. And then here's the sign I was just talking about, the recreation. So has anyone heard about the Earl Carroll restoration? That's coming back to life. So the Earl Carroll Theater is on Sunset and Argyle. It was early kind of modernism. It's still there, that big rectangular building, but it was brought to life by neon. The neon portrait is Beryl Wallace, who was the companion of Earl Carroll. We can't read that, but it says around her portrait, it says, "Through these portals pass the most beautiful girls in the world." So this is, yes, well, yeah, this is, 19,
Right.
yeah. This is last century. You can see it better here. And so the
Very much like zero.
yes. But we have some animation here. This goes from daytime to evening. And one of my favorite things about this is the animation they did in the word theater, eat at the theater.
Eat, oh yes.
Oh.
So
Yes,
I think that's really incredible. I love the playfulness of it, and I'm so glad that it's coming back. Inside the theater, this is the goddess of light, and she originally conjured that 40-foot long swirl of neon, and then the neon continued into the theater, that sort of curtain there. But she's still with us by a miracle. She's still with us. That's what she looks like now. And hopefully we'll get to, hopefully they'll reopen it as a theater and we'll get to visit her. After actually Earl Carroll and Beryl Wallace they died in a plane crash. But Frank Senes took over the theater and renamed it the Moulin Rouge, but did exactly the same signage. It's the same type style. We got a lot more billboards. It got a little flashier, but Beryl Wallace is still there. So I love Louis and Keeley, so I was thrilled to find this particular image. in 1968, everything came down off the exterior. It became the home for, it was renamed the Aquarius Theater, and it became the home for hair. The Dutch art collective, The Fool, came to LA and created this incredible mural around the building, and it was the biggest mural in the world at the time. The Fool influenced this psychedelic look for the Beatles. They were very important in this era, and we're lucky to have this really landmark piece of art in Los Angeles for 3 years. And of course, you probably know it was the exterior was recreated for Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It didn't make it into the film, but we got to enjoy it for 6 or 7 years. So that was one of my favorite things about that, and I love that movie. You can see his love of neon in that movie. He has montages, and he recreated a part of Hollywood Boulevard to film it. So now we're gonna go bowling. So does anyone recognize this building?
No.
This building is still standing. It was originally the executive building on the Warner Brothers lot. It's on Sunset Boulevard, and now it's home to Sunset Gower KTLA. Does it look familiar now? So I love that in 1939 it became the Sunset Bowling Center. This was when things were changing in Hollywood because it was the West Coast capital of radio, but other production was coming in, so they decided they'd move elsewhere, and they needed a tenant for this. So those neon columns are just, as a neon person, that would be like a dream, oh, I want to put neon on the columns, and they did it. So let's see, I think I have, no. And then you see in the center, Grauman time. So those signs used to be all over Hollywood, but they made special signs for the bowling alleys. So time to bowl, and the hands are bowling pins. And you see it here again, up in the upper right. Grauman time to bowl. And this is one of my favorites. This was on Hollywood Boulevard between Highland and Vine. And I love that you could do anything there, except see a movie. You could there was a juice bar, there was a fountain, a rumpus room where you could overlook the bowlers. It was up on the second floor. Also on the second floor were a few lanes they set aside for the ladies, so they could practice their bowling privately, and they wouldn't be embarrassed by their low scores. So, yeah. Here's a close-up. You can see more of it. But that signage is just incredible. So, does this look familiar?
Yep.
So we're on Vine Boulevard. We're standing on Sunset looking north. So there's the Broadway. But then you can see this incredible bowling sign in the sky, the Hollywood Rec Center. So this is 1937. It's the heart of Radio City West. We have the Brown Derby across the street. And of course it was air conditioned. And this might be a little hard to see, but this is an animation of the sign. I'll do one more time. Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, I don't think I can get it back. Okay, so those were post-war bowling alleys. This is, pre-war. This is post-war. So this does anyone know this place, Hollywood Starlings? This is where The Big Lebowski was filmed. The Big Lebowski. And the signs were spectacular. Here's the star. If you go to Lucky Strike in Hollywood, they have recreated Hollywood in script, and they have some starbursts all around. So there's a little bit of the spirit of this incredible place. This was on Santa Monica, and it was torn down for a LAUSD school, so a location. And this is one of my favorites because, you know, it's just incredible. So this was the original use of this building. It was the Hollywood Legion Stadium. It was a legendary place for boxing from the 20s on. All, you know, Charlie Chaplin used to go there. Boxing was a big thing to do, and I think they seated like 4,000 people, and the joke in the papers were like, do you look at the boxing match or all the celebrities? You know, so in 1960, it was converted to the Hollywood Legion Lanes. So this is just south of Hollywood Boulevard, near the Fonda Theater, just to, if you want to place yourself. Right now, it's a LA Fitness or something like that now. So the building is still there. This is one of my favorites because of the sort of mid-century-ness of it. The script in Hollywood, the block letters for Legion Lanes, it's so playful. The banners for the 11th Frame Cocktail Lounge, and those flags up at the top. But the sort of star of the show, of course, is in the sky, and this could be seen from blocks away. Backlit plastic, and that big swoop was animated neon. I have a little animation of it. There we go. So, I just can't get over that this exists in Hollywood. So I thought I would share some drive-ins and coffee shops. LA had many places like this in the sort of deco era. This is Sunset and Vine, the southeast corner. So they would always put them on corners so you could see them from every direction you were coming from. And these like floating neon circles of light and the tower of neon. I mean, they're just so inviting, and they sort of beckon you in to, I don't eat hamburgers, but I would there, if they brought it back. Here's another. This is McDonald's.
Chicken. I saw the sign that said chicken.
Yes, chicken. Yep. Well, I don't eat chicken either, but I'd still go. So McDonald's, also gorgeous. This is La Brea and Sunset. So the style was pretty well established. So this sort of round neon with that tower. Yeah, we have fried chicken right at the top. So this is sort of rare to see a color image of one of the drive-ins. I have another one too, which is incredible. This was Sunset and Cahuenga. I think it's the Jack in the Box now. But you can see the Broadway Hollywood here. And this, I always think about it when I'm a graphic designer, and if I showed this typeface to a client, they would say, absolutely not, I can't read that. But of course we can read it, right? That was their Robert's logo, and I think it's spectacular. So beautiful and deco. We have also in the back there the Top Deck Lounge in the lower left. Simon's. This is Sunset and Highland, southeast corner. And so that is catty corner from Hollywood High. That's where that was. I mean, just thinking about driving by there, and you can see this at one time. Simon's was replaced by Stan's. So they took the same building and rebranded it as Stan's. And they had this incredible sign on the corner. Yeah, yeah. There's a replica of this car hop City Walk. So you can still see her. But this was, of course, all animated, and like the light bulbs would go on and off around, and just spectacular. Do people remember Tiny Nailers? I know it was a legendary place. It was before my time, before I got to LA, but this is 1949, Sunset, also Sunset in La Brea. It replaced McDonald's. And this corner was magical because right across the street was Carolina Pints Jr. So this is an R.M. Davis coffee shop in the Googie style. Does everyone know what Googie is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I had a feeling in this room everyone would know. I've heard people like on the East Coast call it Gougie. So, no. And then the Carolina Hollywood Motel. And I'm gonna sort of refer back to that in a few minutes. But R.M. Davis were known for building these incredible, like coffee shops that looked like everything defied gravity. And there were big glass windows, so you had that indoor-outdoor, people driving by could see, and oh, look, everyone, like, I wanna go there too. It was an important style. It started in Los Angeles, didn't last all that long, but we still have Norms and Pans. We still have some incredible examples of it. Here's our aforementioned Coffee Dan's on the other right side. That's the one that was on Hollywood Boulevard. Actually, this one was too. And again, with like my graphic design hat on, we wouldn't have two different competing typefaces, but I kind of love it anyway, because they're both so wonderful. So we have neon on the street, and then the roof signs higher up are like backlit plastic. So this location was on Vine, just north of Hollywood Boulevard. And I believe that Starburst in the air spun, because it looks like you can see the motion in the nighttime view. But it was built, the original building was built in 41. It was right out, the farmer's market location that we still have was 38. So this is 41. And after the Capitol Records building opened in 56, they were like, hey, we gotta get a little cooler. So they added all this Googie, amazing Googie signage on the roof. Does anyone know Toffs or remember Toffs? So you can see where it was. It was right next to Grauman's. And also just an incredible little modernist gem, and just steps away from Grauman's. And I am really enamored by the sign on this. And this was, you can see in the little corner, there's a sign tag which tells you who made the sign, Heath and Company. And they were an important sign company in Los Angeles. And they did the Hollywood Palladium, the 60s version when Lawrence Welk came in. They did the Felix Chevrolet sign downtown. They did Corbin Bowl, Premier Lanes. So they did a lot of very significant signage in Los Angeles. And I'm going to close with a little sign story of my own. This motel, it was on Hollywood Boulevard, just west of Western. And it wasn't the Coral Isle for too long, but then it became the downtowner. So I don't know if anyone remembers driving by it. But it's always been one of my favorites because that sort of Las Vegas, signage for a motel, and it's almost the same sign as the Carolina Pines motel that we just saw. So I was driving by this sign, and I saw the crane, and I'm like, oh my God, we're gonna lose another sign. But I found out that I talked with the manager, and they said they were restoring the sign, not taking it down. And they were looking for a graphic designer.
Perfect.
So I did some research, and I found this matchbook cover on eBay. I haven't seen it before or since. So like the stars aligned on this in so many ways. So I was able, this is the sister Downtowner Motel, but I think they were owned by a family or cousins. So I brought back that typography to the sign, and here it is at night. And it animates, it's really beautiful. It is no longer a motel. About a year ago, Covenant House purchased it, and so it's housing runaway kids. So it's still it's an important location for that as well. And by some miracle, they left the sign on the building.
Oh, nice.
So. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, we're going to take some questions. I'm going to turn the lights up a little bit.
Okay. Does anyone have a question, or should I'll wait for Kevin.
Start over here with Elizabeth, I guess.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Oh, years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, I was aware that Pasadena has a historic sign inventory. I don't know if Pasadena is not maybe within your usual orbit, but those were protected. Now, I don't know what the status is now with the Cultural Heritage Commission or what group might be protecting, but at the time, they were protecting historic signs in Pasadena.
I believe they're still
Do you know
active.
about this at all?
I don't know too much about it, but I believe they're still active, and I know that the Museum of Neon Art in Glendale has rescued some signs from Pasadena.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And some have been restored recently too. So we're always hopeful, because as you know, once upon a time we had neon all over the place, and now it's sort of the exception rather than the rule. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
So rescuing a sign, does that mean bringing it into the museum?
Yes, either just sort of protecting it from getting landing in a landfill,
Yes.
which so many signs wound up in the landfill, so part one is sort of rescuing it, making sure that it doesn't wind up, and the next thing might be restoring it. It's extremely expensive. I mean, just to take a sign down is expensive, with the crane and storage. So most of the sign museums, there's one in Cincinnati, of course, one in Vegas, are involved with preservation as well.
Or at least to photograph and document them.
Yes, exactly.
Get the dates and put that all down, even if they disappear.
Exactly, and thank you for mentioning that. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do this book, was to sort of capture this moment in time, in Hollywood.
Nina.
Thanks for a great talk. I recognize some things, but how many people are repairing signs these days? Is it like a booming business, or is it like 3 people far away from each other?
It's kind of both. That's a good way to put it, because once upon a time, every even small town had a neon shop and neon vendors, and now it's become more of a specialized thing, like letterpress printing, or you know, something like that that is, you know, has nothing to do with computers. And there are some very, there is some significant work being done here in Los Angeles by Paul Greenstein. You'll see his videos on Mona's talks about the Earl Carroll Theater. And he does deep research and is an incredible preservationist. So some people are sort of doing it on their own, or they're connected with museums, and there are some neon shops still. You can still go and order yourself a neon sign. Unfortunately, LED is sort of taken over, and we don't even like to say those letters. Community, it's a whole thing. So, yeah.
Other questions? Sure. Yep, you.
Hi. I enjoyed this, thank you. I was wondering if you had any plans on maybe following up this with like signs in other places in the United States.
That is a great question, thank you. I've been doing a lot of research Florida, because they had an incredible, I mean, with all the attractions, they had so many incredible signs. I am working on a book about Heath and Company that did the top sign and the other ones I mentioned, because they really changed the face of Los Angeles. They left a major imprint. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. I'm also working on an I Love Lucy book. So,
Of course.
yeah.
Other questions? No questions? I'll ask a question.
Oh.
What's one of the signs in here that you maybe didn't show us that's in the book that we definitely need to check out?
Oh, well,
Or your favorites?
I would say one of my favorites is the Frolic Room.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that? It's a bar.
Yeah, it's a bar. It's right next to the Pantages. It's like the Pantages' little sister sitting there on the, that's in the book. But that's one of my favorites, and that you'll see that in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and other. It's such a fantastic sign.
Last call for questions, because we want to make sure you have time to look at the book if you haven't checked it out yet. And then I think you're signing copies.
I'd love to sign. Yes.
Kathy will
Yeah.
sign copies at the back. So join me in thanking our speaker.
Thank you so much. I've loved being here. Thank you.
And join me in thanking you for coming out to see this program tonight. Thanks, everyone. You can clap for yourself. Book Club is here the second Wednesday of every month for our programs. We've left some calendars on your table, so please take a calendar of events. Come back and join us for another program. Thanks, everyone.